A comedian stands alone on a dark stage, microphone in hand, waiting for a laugh that never comes. This opening image from Women Aren't Funny isn't just a scene, it's the entire film's thesis, presented with devastating silence. Directed by the reclusive filmmaker Lara Vance, this 2023 mockumentary arrived with minimal promotion but maximum controversy. Its very title became a cultural litmus test, provoking reactions before a single frame was viewed. Yet beneath that provocative surface lies one of the most meticulously constructed films about comedy's unspoken rules. Production began in secret during the pandemic's isolation period, with Vance filming interviews via Zoom before transitioning to carefully staged live performances. The cinematographer Marco Silva used vintage anamorphic lenses to create a documentary aesthetic that feels both authentic and artificially constructed, a perfect visual metaphor for the film's exploration of performance. Vance insisted on casting actual stand-up comedians rather than actors, creating an uncomfortable blur between character and reality. Lead performer Jasmine Chen had never acted before, having spent 12 years in comedy clubs. Her nervous energy before performances wasn't acting, it was documented anxiety, captured by cameras that followed her for months. The film's structure mirrors a comedian's set, opening with confidence, descending into vulnerability, and attempting a recovery. Each act corresponds to a different historical era of comedy, with production design subtly shifting from smoky 1970s clubs to sterile modern comedy cellars. The color palette drains as the film progresses, moving from warm amber to clinical blue. At its core, Women Aren't Funny examines not whether women can be funny, but why society needs to ask that question. The mockumentary format allows Vance to present biased interviews as evidence, then systematically dismantle each argument through visual storytelling rather than dialogue. Notice how the camera lingers on male comedians as they explain why women aren't funny. The arguments are undercut by visual irony. One claims women don't take risks while the frame shows him performing the same safe material for decades. Another discusses biological differences, while the edit cuts to his identical twin sister, a successful comic. The film's most powerful technique is its use of silence. When female comedians perform, we rarely hear their full sets. Instead, we see audience reactions, sometimes laughter, sometimes discomfort, sometimes indifference. This forces viewers to question their own expectations. Are we listening to the joke or judging the teller? Vance employs a subtle sound design strategy. Male comedy sets are accompanied by full, rich laughter tracks, while female performances exist in acoustic spaces where individual laughs can be identified. This creates an intimacy that's both vulnerable and exposing, making us aware of laughter as a social performance. Historical footage intercuts throughout, not just of comedians, but of women being told to be quiet throughout history. 1950s etiquette films, corporate training videos, political debates. The implication is clear. The question of women's humor is inseparable from the question of women's voices. One particularly brilliant sequence follows Chen preparing backstage. As she applies makeup, we hear overlapping audio from famous male comedians discussing their craft. Their words about truth-telling and authenticity contrast with the visible performance of femininity happening in the mirror, suggesting women must perform gender before they can perform comedy. The film's turning point occurs during a technical malfunction at a comedy festival. When the microphone fails, Chen continues her set unamplified, forcing the audience to lean forward and truly listen. In that moment, the film argues comedy transforms from performance to conversation. What makes Women Aren't Funny particularly insightful is its refusal to offer easy answers. It doesn't argue that women are funnier than men, nor does it suggest gender is irrelevant. Instead, it exposes how comedy functions as a cultural mirror, reflecting our deepest biases about who gets to speak and who gets to laugh. The production's most revealing trivia involves the ending. Vance filmed multiple conclusions. One triumphant, one tragic, one ambiguous. Test audiences consistently preferred the winning ending where Chen receives standing ovations. Vance chose instead the ambiguous version where the response is mixed, because, as she noted in production diaries, comedy isn't about victory, it's about connection. This choice reflects the film's entire philosophical approach. Women Aren't Funny isn't interested in proving a point, but in examining a phenomenon. Its power comes from sitting with discomfort, from showing the machinery of both comedy and prejudice, without offering escape through resolution. As the final frames linger on an empty stage, we're left not with answers, but with better questions. The film suggests that perhaps comedy's value isn't in who delivers it, but in what it reveals about those listening. In questioning why we question women's humor, we inevitably question our own assumptions about voice, authority, and who deserves to be heard. Elora Vance's quiet masterpiece doesn't shout its message. It whispers it in the space between punchlines. And in doing so, it becomes one of the most profound statements about comedy since the medium began. The stage remains empty, but the conversation has just begun. Thank you for watching until the end. We pour our passion into every single video essay exploring the stories behind the movies we all love. If you stumbled upon this video by chance, there is a very high probability you might never see our channel again in your feed, so please, take a moment to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and ring the bell. We are actively growing this community of cinema lovers, and your support is what helps us make our content better and more insightful every single day. Let's explore the magic of filmmaking together. See you in the next one.